Hey guys, I'm Josh Reef, the Hustle Hacker, and I'm here today with Jeb Colwell, and we're here to talk about his music and getting licensing deals. So we'll start off with a quick clip of some of his music for you guys to enjoy.
It would be nice to see some chicks for a change. Chicks for a change. Chicks for a change.
All right, so Jeb, why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about your music background and music career in general?
All right, my name's Jeb Colwell. I play music with a group called Colwell. It's comprised of my cousin and me, mostly as a duo. We have been playing music for over 2 decades together since we were kids, and we live in New York, and we are transitioning out of having been a live act for a long time. It still interests us, but it's not as lucrative as we'd like it to be. We found that making music to pitch to TV and film has been a little bit more where the money's at. So we've been focusing more on creating music for those purposes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, very cool. So you were telling me that you got a couple licensing deals in the early going. Can you tell us about that? How you got them? You know, what you're working on, and so forth.
Yeah. So actually, when we released an album about 15 years ago, we got a production deal with our band at that time, and kind of built into that deal, we met a lot of people networking at that level, and we signed with a licensing agency.
Okay.
And she was able to, Michelle Byer, who runs Shelly Bay, was able to find great opportunities for us. So we had her representing us that time. We were on her radar. We had just produced this album with one of our favorite artists, who was our producer. So right away, we landed a TV show, Brothers and Sisters on ABC, Sally Field, Rob Lowe.
Wow.
It was pretty big. And we had our song featured on that, and it was a really great paycheck.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So that was the first deal that you landed?
That was number one.
Okay.
We had another one around that time.
When was this?
This was in 2006, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, where'd you head next?
Well, from there we had another song from that same record licensed to a TV show that didn't last long. It was called 3 Moons Over Milford.
Okay.
And it wasn't quite the payout that we had wanted, but it's not always about the money. Like we realized too that with those opportunities, we found that our exposure as a band was growing.
Okay.
So we really valued that.
And the more exposure you get, the more paid deals you can get.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about this big project that you're aiming for now. You're trying to get a big licensing deal. Can you talk about that, the challenges, and kind of your plan to go after that?
Yeah. So I would say that we actually that band broke up.
Okay.
And it took a while to pick up the pieces and to gain momentum again.
Okay.
And so we are now working independently. We still have a relationship with this agency.
Okay.
But we've had to rekindle that relationship, and we're still on our roster. We're trying to be on our radar a little bit more. So we've created a song that we think would be a great fit for a big blockbuster movie coming out.
Okay.
And I hired a business coach to help me elevate my stock, so to
Okay.
speak, to bring my music website back up to a level that would be appealing to people looking to hire a musician like me.
Okay.
And so this person helped rebrand us.
Okay.
And teach me how to pitch songs to people independently.
Okay.
Without the need for an agent. Agencies are great, representing artists. You know, it's nice to have someone in your corner to pitch for you.
Okay.
But this day and age, with the changing of the music industry, it's important for artists to be able to do things on their own as well.
Absolutely. And the thing is this, when you're pitching a song, it's a sales pitch. It's no different than any business pitch in general, and that's like we kind of have to see that you're a musician and you may not have the skills of pitching, as a sales pitch. And so you can learn those skills to do independently, or you can get a coach or someone to pitch for you. It's really up to you how you want to approach that. So have you reached out to producers? Have you tried to make connections with the actual company that you're targeting? What progress have you made there, and what's your aim?
Well, it's been made pretty clear that cold calling isn't always very effective.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've thought about somehow reaching out to the person in charge at DC Films, but I think that's not always the way to go. And it's nice I've been looking for somebody to give me an introduction.
Okay.
So I've been asking around among my industry friends if anybody knows this music supervisor.
Okay.
For this particular movie, which I've identified by researching on IMDb, which was really helpful. Which 10 years ago we didn't. 10 years ago we had the internet, but now internet is everything. So I've been doing a lot of my research on the internet, which has been great. And I've been reaching out to. I've actually reached out to the producer who produced my album 10 years ago.
Okay.
To see if he knows anybody. But I have my feelers out to a lot of people. To try and get an introduction to this person. Now
Okay.
the time is ticking.
Yeah.
With regards to getting this in the movie, but
Okay.
But I believe that the song I've written is the fit.
Well, there you go.
You know
And
what I
no matter what you're selling, whatever product, you gotta believe that that's it. That yours is gonna fit that movie or whatever you're trying to sell to. So one of the things that I want to talk about is with networking, everyone's trying to pitch their product. Everyone's me, and if you just send in your tape to this producer, it's gonna go on a pile and never get listened to. Why? Because everyone's doing that, and doesn't matter how good you are, no one's going to sit there and sift through thousands of duds to get to yours.
Yeah.
So how do you get to that person? Well, there's a number of ways, but one of them is that warm introduction, like you said. The other is trying to figure out what you can do for them, how you can help them, because if you go to someone and saying, I want to give you my time to help you, people aren't dumb. They know you want something in return, but at least you're going from that approach of I want to offer something to help you before helping myself. So one of the things I like to recommend is we have the internet, you have LinkedIn, you have their website. You can do an insane amount of research on the person you're targeting. And you should know every little thing about them, because that way you can figure out what you can help with, what you can offer. And when you cold email them, or whether you show up at their door or anything that you want to do to get in touch with them, you want to say, hey, I think I can help you with this. And a good chance of the time it's not going to have anything to do with the project that you want to work on. It may not have nothing to do with this movie, but if there's some way you can help this producer on anything, that just opens that door, that gets you a meeting. And then in the meeting, that's when, once he knows you, once he's talked to you, once he's like, this guy's pretty cool, you say, I wrote a song, I'd love if you just check it out and see if it's a fit for the movie. That's your intro, and it had nothing to do with you pitching the song. It had to do with you built a connection based on the value you wanted to give to that producer. And the beauty as well is you have this thing in mind, you think it's great, but the timing might not be right. It may, like you said, be too late. But the good news is if they hear the song and love it, and it doesn't go in this movie, they may say, hey, we want you to write a song for the next movie. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where it really comes in, is everyone gets so focused on their project that they love, and they want to succeed in that, and that's wonderful. But a lot of times the opportunity comes later, and they don't recognize that it's a stepping stone, it's a building block. So yeah, and I think it's great. Licensing is going to be huge for music coming forward. Videos getting bigger. There's going to be production. There's going to be advertising that needs it. There's going to be movies, film, and all forms of entertainment that are going to need it. And like you said, it's more lucrative than necessarily going the music route. So yeah, I mean, is there anything you want to add to the licensing part of this?
Well, it's interesting what you mentioned about appealing to their needs, what we can do what we have to offer them. I mean, it's an industry. We need each other. The music industry, the gatekeepers, the licensing agencies, they need musicians to create music, so they have something to pitch on their own as well. The people who produce movies, they need songs. So we already are providing something that we know they need to a certain extent. How do we create a relationship where we stand out among somebody else? One of the ways I've been coached, I hired a business coach, as I mentioned, Cheryl B. Engelhardt. She's also a singer-songwriter, really great person, and she not only helped me rebrand my site and my business, and helped me come up with a mission statement about what I was doing, so that across the board, whatever I was doing, I was moving from that place. That was interesting. But she gave me a really good tool on how to pitch in an email.
Okay.
Or how to send a cold email. And in the first sentence, the first two sentences of the email, and this may be true for any sort of business you're doing, is to relate to the person in that first sentence and offer them something that they're looking for. Like you say, it's good to research the person so you know what they might want, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
To know everything about them. So before you send the email, learn as much as you can about them. Offer something that will perk them up in the first sentence or two.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's what we all want too, right? When you meet somebody, the people who stand out are the people who take a special interest in you.
Well, anyone you walk around and hands you a card, you just throw it away.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not having a conversation with you. They're not talking with you. You're not showing something that you are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I get an email, you can tell right away whether it's an advertisement sales pitch or whether they're actually trying to to have a conversation and talk with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's great. So, well, this is great. Thanks for being with us. Stay tuned for part 2 when we'll discuss more of your music career. But we really wanted to cover the licensing aspect. And thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Josh.
All right.